Hey guys, so Samantha March started a video called the eyeshadow palette tag round 2. She did round 1 last year. I was not aware to do it, but it was just a fun video for me to watch, and I thought it would be a fun video to do, so here I am doing it. I have ranked my eyeshadow palettes, so some of these may not be a very surprising pick, but some of them I dig a little bit deeper on, so I think that this was really a lot of fun, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So here we go. So the first question is my all-time favorite. I bet if you've been in around any length of time, you probably know what this is going to be. Can we say it together? Natasha Dena Glam palette. I love this. This is a beautiful, timeless palette. I love this palette. I love it so much. It's just a classic neutral cool tone palette, and I remember being on vacation with my husband and seeing a picture of this and thinking I have to get that because it was just it was calling to me. There are just so many good shades in here, and I just love it so much. I've used it so many times. I don't know if you can tell, but she is well loved. I love this palette. I love it a lot, and there's no other palette that can really top this in my collection at the moment. So and it would be really hard for one to come along that will, although there have been some that have came close. This is still supreme. So the next one is a new favorite, and that would be another Natasha Denona. I'm sure you guys aren't surprised by this one either. This is the Natasha Denona Glam Face Palette, and I chose the dark one because I prefer the shades in this one. They're just so gorgeous and beautiful. I don't know what else to say except that they're beautiful. Sorry to blind you, I don't mean to. But this is a new favorite. I love it so much. I use the light a little bit more just because it's a little bit more like everyday. But the dark and the light stay in my everyday makeup bag, and they have since I purchased them, and they will continue probably. So I love this one so much, and I'm so glad that I got the dark one because I had originally just bought the light and I was going to stay with the light, but I'm really glad that I picked up the dark too. The next one is one you keep for the memories, and I kind of had to think on this one a little bit because I was like, what do I keep for the memory? Because a lot of palettes have memories. Like, it's, you know, they say that smell is tied to memories, you know, and you smell the smell and it takes you back to the memory. Well, for a palette, I can think about different makeup looks that I did or whatever, and then for occasions that I wore those particular palettes, and it's a lot of fun to think about, and that's just kind of something I tie to. But I chose this palette because it was my very first like high-end palette. So this is my Soft Glam palette from ABH. I love this palette. I love it so much. This one's also very well loved. You're gonna see a lot of neutrals because I love neutrals, but it is so gorgeous, so incredibly gorgeous. I love this palette. I used it so much. If you go back to like some of my very first videos, which I don't suggest, but if you go back to those, I use this in quite a few. Just because this was like one of my favorites at the time, you know, and I need to pull this palette out and use it because I've not used it in quite some time, and it's just one of those timeless classics, you know. And I love it so much, and it makes me think back to when I first really became addicted to makeup. Like, I've always loved makeup, I've always been into makeup, I've always, you know, had a huge makeup bag, but never a makeup collection like this until after I had gotten married, which was like 2.5 years ago, and this was my first high-end purchase. This was, you know, yeah, I love it. The next one is an underrated palette, and I really had to think about this one because I was like, I found that I have a lot that are underrated. So that was really, it was a difficult decision to come to. And so I'm thinking and thinking, and then I was like, ding, ding, ding. Obviously, my Lorelei Los Angeles, anything from Lorelei Los Angeles is amazing, and I don't think it gets talked about enough, but especially this Nudie #2 palette. Like, look at that palette. It is gorgeous. These two shimmers right here are spectacular shimmers. This palette I was using for the longest time, like non-stop, after I first got it, and it is such a beautiful palette. And when I first saw it, I was like, I don't think I'm really gonna like that, and I got it and I fell in love. This is like one of those palettes that it's completely a timeless classic, if you will. I just love it so much, and there are just so many good shades in here, and it's just gorgeous. It's absolutely breathtaking, and I don't think that her brand gets talked about enough. I think that a lot of people, because it is an influencer indie brand, it kind of gets glossed over a little bit, but I think that this is one of the best eyeshadow brands that I have come across, and I love it so very much. Yeah, I just really love it. Not a favorite, but I can't get rid of it. And I had to think about this one too, because I was like, I do keep a few palettes in my collection that I'm just not in love with, but at the same time, like, I just can't get rid of either. And this one kind of sprang to mind, and I was like, I had to go for this one. So it's the Nikki Tutorials collab with Beauty Bay. Hear me out, okay? Because I know everybody loves Nikki Tutorials. Oh, I'm about to dig my nail in that. The quality of this palette is absolutely amazing. Like, the shimmers are incredible. They truly are. My thing is, this color story, like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to go with this. They're just so, like, that bright red and that bright yellow, like, what does that go with in the palette? The bright blues, the bright, like, what? I don't personally see anything in here that I can work with. However, I'm a very neutral person. I wear a lot of neutral eyeshadow, and so I'm a very basic person, and that's why I look at it and I'm like, I don't really see anything that like jumps out at me. And the same shades is what I would be reaching for. So that's my issue with this one, is just I can't get rid of it because it is an amazing quality. I love the quality on it, but literally, what do you do with it? So it has to be one of those palettes that you're gonna like mix with something else, I guess, but I'm always horrible about that. Like, I want to pull out one palette and be done, so I need to remember to pull this out more and use it. I was so excited about this. I think I was on vacation when this one came out too, and I was so excited I had to order it. My favorite collab, this was a no-brainer. Like, I know this one. This is my ABH and Jackie Aina palette, and I love this palette, okay? I love it so much. It is a perfect palette. It is absolutely beautiful. There are so many great color combos in here. Like, I look at this and I'm like, there's a lot I can do with that. And I have a very specific eye look I like to do with these few shades over here. I've talked about it a lot. I put ginger in the crease, and then I deepen it up with a little bit of edges. I put a little bit of credit in the outer corner, and then I'll put Lituation all over the lid, or I'll even put Sponsored. I'll switch out the Lituation or Sponsored all over the lid. That is like one of my favorite eye looks to do. So gorgeous. And then I like to use Soleil for highlighting, and that is what I go to this palette for. But I love all these shades. I love everything about it. I think it is a great quality, and nobody talks about it either. This one's very underrated, but it is so good. It's like one of their best palettes. It truly is. Probably I forgot, I ranked my palettes. I can't remember if I put this one or the Sultry palette as number one. I can't remember. You guys will have to remind me, because I love this palette a lot, and I love Sultry too, so it's really hard. Really hard to choose between the two. my 2021 favorite. If you saw my 2021 eyeshadow ranking video, I ranked all the eyeshadows I tried in 2021, and this was the number one. This is not a new palette, but I did try it in 2021. I got it the very end of 2021, to be honest with you, and I used it nonstop since I purchased it. Literally nonstop. I love this palette so much. I mean, there are so many colors in here. This black is probably my favorite black in my collection because it is a cream to powder formula. It's so easy to work with, so gorgeous. Just one of those good ones. if she has a creamy white shade that's cream to powder, you guys tell me what palette it's in, because I really need one of those too. But I just love this palette. I think it's absolutely stunning, gorgeous, and I love it so much. I use it so much, and I am so glad that I got this. I got it on sale. That's why I got it at the end of 2021. But I've used it I want to say every day, but it's not every day, but I've used it every chance I've gotten since I purchased, and I love it. The one I didn't expect to love, so I bought this and I thought, it's not that expensive, I'll give it a try. I don't like Morphe eyeshadows. That's why I was a little hesitant, and I had a not a great experience with another palette. This is Jaclyn Hill and Morphe. This is the Divine Neutrals palette, and I got it because people were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know, Morphe quality is not the greatest, and her like 10 pan palettes, I believe, or something like that, I can't remember, the Vault collection that she had, I had that before, and it wasn't the greatest. It was okay, but I've had better quality. So I was like, for $18 I can try it and see, and so I did, and I loved it. I fell in love. This went in my everyday makeup bag for a very long time, and I used it every day. And this was when I was wearing makeup every day, and I love this palette. I think that this is a gorgeous neutral palette that is a perfect addition to anybody's collection. It's absolutely so affordable, and the quality is amazing on this. Like, I'm super shocked. It's not gonna be a Natasha to Dena. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you it's that kind of quality, but for $18 it's pretty good quality. So I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, and I'm very thankful to have this in my collection. I say that a lot, but I'm thankful that I purchased it. I'm thankful that I loved it as much as I did. It truly, like, surprised me. I didn't expect to love this one for sure. A palette that sparks joy. I automatically knew exactly which palette I was going to use for this one because I knew. And the reason that I knew what it was going to be was because I purchased this palette when my husband and I were on our honeymoon. And so I have such good fond memories of this one. So this is the Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette. Number one, it's a neutral palette. It's a neutral lover's dream. The quality is superb on this. I love this one. If you need a gold eyeshadow, this is the one. This is the one. We were just on our vacation, and of course I had to go to Ulta because even back then I loved Ulta. That was, right after, of course, we got married, and I hadn't like totally jumped off the deep end with my obsession with makeup, and I went to Ulta and I decided to get this, and loved it. I loved it so much. It was such a great quality for such an affordable price, and I was just blown away by the pan size, by the quality, and it was just so good. And so every time I think about this, I think about my honeymoon. I think about, those very first days of marriage, that were so blissful. You're blissfully just in your own world and all that kind of stuff. And so that's a very special time in your life. And of course, it's always nice to be, taken back. So it sparks joy for that reason, and also because it can create some beautiful looks. I love this palette. And the next one is the newest palette in my collection, and at first I was like, Oh my gosh, which one did I purchase last? I can't remember which one I had purchased last, because I purchased a few. That's kind of how I do it. I'm like bam, 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 all at once. And so I have to think about it. And this was definitely the last one, because I've not even used it yet. That's how new it is, because it's just been sitting here. I got this palette. I bought it from Ulta, so it's an affordable palette. Purchased from Ulta. When I got it in, one of the shades was shattered, completely busted, and I was so sad, but they replaced the palette for me, which I'm very thankful for. So this one is the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette, and I am obsessed with this palette. This quality on this palette, I have the Desert Lights palette, and oh my gosh, the quality of the shimmers, they're all shimmers basically, but they're all so gorgeous. I love this palette so much. You can just see so many different shades in here, and it's so reflective and gorgeous. I don't know if I said that, but it's gorgeous, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. But I love it, and I can't wait to use it. I just haven't used it because I have so much that I've needed to get through. They feel like butter. Let's swatch the green. Ooh, of course, you know the green's the reason I purchased. Oh my gosh. Yeah. These, I did really good. I didn't swatch until this one. Oh my gosh. I love it. How pretty is that? Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. I love it. So if you want a good affordable palette, which this is not the cheapest, I'm not gonna lie to you, from the drugstore, there are some that are more affordable, but this is such amazing quality. I don't care to spend a little bit more on it. I think it's like about $17 or $18 from Ulta, and I love it. And we're to our last palette, so I promise I'm not swatching a bunch. The very last one is the first palette I used in 2022, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, which one did I use first? And then I remembered the very first video that I did in 2022 may not have been the very first one I posted, but the very first that I recorded was on New Year's Day, and I used the Tiny Marbles palette from Sydney Grace, and this is the collab with Mel Thompson. And I was so fortunate enough to be able to get this when they restocked. Oh my gosh, if you've not seen, there's a little fuzzy. If you've not seen the video that I did a look with this, oh my gosh, I love the look I did in that video. It was absolutely gorgeous. This shade right here is the star of the show. This was gorgeous. But the whole palette is Sydney Grace quality, is top-notch, superb, amazing. I love it, and I am super happy with this one. At first I was kind of like, I don't know about the shades, I don't know about the color in there, but honestly it's such a great palette. I can't recommend it enough. However, I don't think that it's available, and I don't know if they're going to restock. I guess it kind of depends upon if they have interest, you know, the demand. That's what I was trying to think of, the demand for it. But it is absolutely gorgeous. But I can only say good things about Sydney Grace, so if you've ever wanted to try them, I highly recommend. So that was my version of the eyeshadow palette tag. Round 2, although it's my first round. I didn't do the first one, but I'm very happy to have been able to do this one, and I think it was nice to be able to talk about palettes in a different format. You know, you can talk about them a little bit more, why you like them, and you know what you think about them. And I'm not trying to get through a ton of palettes, so you know, that made it a little bit more special. I hope you guys enjoyed. It'll be hopefully a shorter video. I've not been filming that long, so hopefully it'll be a shorter one. And I really enjoyed making this one, so I hope you guys enjoy watching. I hope you're staying safe, happy, and healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.